Okay, coming back at you with the proportions notes. So a proportion is an equation stating that two ratios are equal. So basically, we've got two things this time, ratios and proportions. A proportion needs two ratios. A ratio is just one fraction. You solve proportions by cross multiplication. And again, we've been doing this. I just wanted to put these notes out. Cross multiplication, can't spell. When you cross multiply, you create equal cross products. Anyways, I just wanted to put these notes out to give you guys a good refresher. For example, the proportion A over B equals C over D. AD would equal BC. Once you have cross multiplied, you need to solve for the variable using algebra. There are 4 ways to set up any proportion and still get the correct answer, which we will look at in just a little bit. So if we have 4 over 10 equals k over 65, we would cross multiply, and we would get 10k equals 260. Then we divide by 10, k equals 26. Remember, you can always simplify this 4 over 10 first. 10's a little bit tougher because we haven't actually done this yet, but p squared equals 36. To do this, I want you to think about what squared would give me 36. And you should be saying 6. But I also want you to think that, yes, 6 times 6 equals 36. But also negative 6 times negative 6 equals 36. And we will actually explore that more in Algebra 2. It's just included in the notes, but it's okay. And then 11. On these ones, remember, we have to distribute. So 3 times x plus 8 equals 4 times x plus 3. So 3x plus 24 equals 4x plus 12. So I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. Then I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. Oops. And then I get x equals 12. Okay, so all stuff that you guys have been doing. All right, given that a over b equals 5 over 7, complete the following equations. So 7a would be equal to 5b. That's just if we would cross multiply. Now, b over a equals 7 over 5. So if you flip the first one, you also have to flip the second one. Now, a over 5 equals b over 7. So if we put this one over this one, we have to put this one over this one. Likewise, 7 over b equals 5 over a. Oops. So those are the 1, 2, 3, 4 different ways of writing proportions where you would still get this same cross product equality. See, we would still get 7a equals 5b. 7a equals 5b. 7a equals 5b. Okay? Okay, so now on to some word problems, which I know you guys love. So the scale of a map of downtown Dallas is 1.5 centimeters to 300 meters. If the distance between Union Station and the Dallas Public Library is 6 centimeters, what is the actual distance? So we're going to go centimeters over actual meters. So we're going to go the scale. So 1.5 centimeters over the 300 meters that it actually is 6 centimeters to how many actual meters? Okay. So since we went centimeters over meters, we need to set it equal to centimeters over meters. So we have 1.5x equals 1800. So we divide by 1.5, we divide by 1.5. So x is 1,200 miles, or meters, I mean, not miles. So Union Station is 1,200 meters from Dallas Public Library. Okay, the $250,000 budget for a local shelter is allocated proportionally to the men's and women's departments according to the population in the shelter by gender. If there are 1,946 women and 399 men in the shelter, what amount rounded to the nearest dollar is allocated to the men's department? All right, so what we have, guys, is the total money. So we want to know how much money out of the total money is allocated to the men. So we need to know the men. But on the bottom we have total. So we need the total number of people. So the total number of people would be 2,345. Okay. So when we cross multiply, we get 2,345x equals this really big number, 99,750,000. So we divide by 2,345. So we get that $42,537 should be allocated to the men's department, which should make sense because if you look at how many women and how many men there are, that number should make a bit of sense. All right, number 15, when I solved this, I didn't really use proportions. After an election in a small town, the newspaper reported that 42% of the registered voters actually voted. When I do word problems here, guys, I always look for keywords. Remember, of means multiplied. Okay, if 12,000 people voted, how many people are registered to vote in the town? Remember, of means multiply. 12,000 is, which means equals, the 42%. Because 12,000 people voted, and 42% voted. Remember, when we're working with percents, we have to change percents to decimals. So 0.42x equals 12,000. Because what percent of meaning multiply, that's why we're attaching the x to the 0.42. So now we're going to divide by 0.42, divide by 0.42. We get that 28,571 people were actually registered to vote. So that's how many people didn't vote. Which makes sense because 12,000 is less than half, 42%, not half. Okay, so I didn't really use proportions for that. I thought it was easier to just set it up like that. That's just me, though. Okay, 16. A student wanted, remember, if I'm going too fast, guys, you can pause me. A student wanted to find the height of a statue of a pineapple in Nambour, Australia. She measured the pineapple's shadow at 8 feet 9 inches and her own shadow at 2 feet. The student's height is 5 feet 4 inches. What is the height of the pineapple? The first thing I did was I calculated this all to inches. So, just so I wouldn't have any weird answers. So 8 feet 9 inches ended up being 105 inches. And you can do that by taking 8 times 12 and then plus 9. So this is 105 inches. This is 24 inches. And this is 64 inches. 5 times 12 plus 4. So we want to do the height of the pineapple over the pineapple's shadow. So the height of the pineapple over the pineapple's shadow equals the height of the girl over the girl's shadow. And remember, we can always simplify this before we cross multiply. I'm just going to go for it. 24x equals 6,720. Divide by 24, divide by 24. X equals, that's 280 inches. To me, that doesn't really mean a whole lot. If you divide that by 12, though, you would get that is 23 feet and 4 inches. So you could easily convert that back. I don't remember when you learned conversions, but I believe it should be late grade school, early junior high. And then finally, one more. The Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. is approximately 57 meters long and 37 meters wide. If you would want to make a scale drawing of the base of the building, using a scale of 1 centimeter to 15 meters, what would be the dimensions of the scale drawing? So if we wanted to do, x to 1 centimeter, that would be equal to 57 to 15. And we could do the same with the base, which would be y to 1 centimeter, which would be 36 to 15. That's how you would set it up with proportions, but I think the easiest way to do it here would be to just divide 57 by 15 and divide 36 by 15. So and that's what you're going to end up doing here anyway. See, when you cross multiply, we would get 15x equals 57. You would divide it by 15. Here again, we would get 15y equals 36. We would divide by 15. So we would get 3.8 centimeters long and 2.4 centimeters wide. And I just used y here instead of x just because I had already used x, so I don't want to freak you out or anything, but that's just what I did. Okay. So, homework or assignment time. Oops. This is going to be your assignment. This ratio and proportions worksheet. So there are 22 questions, I believe. So it goes all the way down to right here, question 22 is where you should stop. because next week I'll be giving these notes right here. So stop right here on question 22 on page 4 where I have it marked.